we have a reinspection feature in HomeGauge Desktop, and I'll be running through how to use that. Before we get started with going through the reinspection feature, I'll do a screen share and we'll set up a reinspection print setting. All right, so what I'll do, I'll go up here to where it says publish. And once I hit publish, and you can be in any report right now, what you're doing will be saved for future reports. So I will click publish, and then it says all items haven't been answered. That's fine. I'm just going to hit yes. And I get to this publishing options screen. One thing to point out too, these buttons up here where it says preview and publish, those are pretty new. If you don't have those, that's okay. You probably have print and upload. So you would just click upload. I will say that there is a new version out of HomeGauge with some really nice updates. And so you will want to eventually go to help over here and check for updates and get the new update. So we've clicked publish and we're under publishing options. And I've already created a reinspection report setting here, but I'll show you how you can do it. And I'll give some tips on presentation that I think is one that most people appreciate, like buyers and sellers, that kind of gets straight to the facts and doesn't have a lot of the extra things that you would have in a full report, because they've already seen the full report. So they don't need to recap the styles and materials and all that jazz. So what we'll do, we'll just go through adding a new print setting. So we'll go here to add, give it a name, reinspection, simple. And then whatever is displayed here is what the customer will see. You don't have to type it again here if you don't want to. The next thing I'll do is I'll go to the cover page and I'll switch that out. So the cover page says reinspection as well. So over here on the right, you'll see these little 3 dots. I'll click on that. It opens up all the different options that I could add there that kind of come with HomeGauge. It should automatically pull up something that looks like this. So I will go to cover. And I have one that says cover reinspection. So you all should have one that says cover reinspection as well. It comes standard with the software. You'll find that and highlight it and click open. Next, I recommend keeping the intro page as part of this document. So I have that checked. Table of contents, this is up to you. I don't think it's necessary, but maybe you want to put table of contents. You can do you know, keep it there or don't. I'm going to leave mine out. I don't usually attach for reinspection, so I'm leaving attachments out. Any of these extra boxes here, I'm just unchecking. When it comes to the report, this is something that I think is a good way to do this. You don't have to do it this way, but I usually train this way because it gets to the nitty-gritty of the reinspection. So I actually uncheck report, and I only include a summary. So it's streamlined. So when somebody's reading the reinspection, all they see are the comments for the original, the pictures for the original, the reinspection, pass, fail, comment, and reinspection pictures. They don't have to go through a lengthy report that has styles and materials and stuff like that. So that's what I do. I uncheck report and I just do summary, and then I do include pictures in summary. And then after that, you just hit OK. And so you'll have your reinspection will show up kind of at the bottom at first. The next time you open up the software, though, it sorts itself alphabetically. So that was the first step. So I just wanted to get you through just setting up a publishing or print option for reinspection, and we will be using it at the end when we publish and upload the document. So any questions about that before we move on? We're going to be leaving the software and going to the dashboard to book the appointment next. Okay, so we're good. So I am at all reports, and I've already done this report, obviously, because it's a reinspection, and you can see it here. So it's this one web lane. I've got an agreement format, and I've got an inspection report, sent it out to the customer, and they've reviewed it and signed it, and they are calling me again to say, hey, I've got these items fixed. Can you come and do a reinspection? I say, sure, it'd be a pleasure. So what I'll do to save some time so I don't have to type out the address or the customer's name and all that jazz, I am going to copy the appointment. So I'll go to appointments here. And this appointment might have been done 2 months ago, who knows? So I'm just going to go to the search and find it that way, because if I go through the calendar, it might take me a while. So I can search by just the number, the address, customer's last name, rep's last name. I know that the address was Webb Lane, so I'll just type in Webb and hit search, and it pulls up any appointments that might match. So I've got my first appointment here. That's the correct one that I want. And what I do to copy it, I'll click Edit Appointment. It's got that original appointment up so I can see it. But then I'll go here to Actions, and I will select Copy Appointment. And if I hover over Copy Appointment, there's a little box that lets you know some of the stuff that will happen. It says it will copy all appointment details except the date, the time, the report ID, and services. So it will save you a bunch of administrative time. So we'll click Copy. Gives you a little, warning there. And then you have to fill out the rest. So this customer, they want me to come in and do the reinspection on a Saturday morning. I'm not excited about it, but I know it will be easy. So I'm like, all right, sounds fine. And then they want it at 9. I'll probably be there till probably 10, but we'll say 11. Then I'll just kind of scroll down here, and everything is filled out for me, which is really awesome. I'll get to the services part, and I'll click on Add Update Services. I've got under additional services, I have a reinspection service to add. So got my reinspection right there, and I'll click Add Selected Service. And then I add my reinspection agreement. So I've got a special agreement that basically just calls out that I'm only inspecting the reinspection items. It's this is a multi-inspector account, so I have a list of inspectors. So you might not see that if you're a single inspector, but I've got my inspectors selected. Everything's all good for the customer and the agent. And basically I just hit schedule after that. I get this little warning that this is outside my normal operating hours because I did it on a Saturday, but that's fine. I'll just do schedule with warnings. Here, it allows me to just check out the agreement, and you'll see I did create this agreement that says reinspection agreement. I got the title, all that. So I'll click create reinspection agreement. Got all the emails ready to go. I might, because maybe I want to just be super clear, I could go into view edit message if I wanted to, and I could just type in REI, your reinspection has been scheduled. Same with the agent. I could do the same thing there. It's not necessary. It's still an inspection, but if you really want to be super clear and you want to add that, that's how you do it. And then at the bottom, I'll click send notifications. You'll notice everything's booked. If I go to my reports and all reports, this has its own unique folder now. So the actual reinspection will fall right under that. And they're just very clear and separated. And I have an invoice associated with that. So that part's done. Easy. You just copy it and put in the date and the reinspection service and the reinspection agreement and send your emails. Next, after that, we're going to download the appointment into the software. This is where it gets a little tricky, but it's worth it in the end because the reinspection feature does save time. So first things first, I will open up my software. So I have no report specifically opened. And then I will go to open. and I'll find my original report. So this is my original report here. And what I'll do is I'll go to this little gear icon and click on that. Here I'll do create reinspection from selected report. You'll get a pop-up that just explains the feature. It will say it creates a copy of the current report. It excludes all the items except summary items. It also puts a flag icon at every summary item, and then it gives you the hint so you can use the Find Flagged search tool to move through the report efficiently. And then it also changes the time and the date of the report to today's date. You might have to change that if you're setting it up the night before, but it tries to finish all those things for you. So we'll say yes. And the reinspection report is saved. And you'll notice I got my reinspection report up at the top there. So it was done on 11/2. My original one was 10/23. After that, we're going to go here and we'll actually hit cancel. So first step, when you open up the software, go to the original report and do the reinspection feature. So click that and then cancel. The next step after that is downloading the online appointment. So you'll go to HG Services, download online appointments. You'll see your appointment there and you'll just put an X next to it and do download now. You'll say, okay. Next, what you'll do is you'll go to open. And the reason that we have to do this process, basically, the goal is to have our appointment link up with our already existing kind of copy of our report. And there's a couple steps to do that. So we want it all to link up so that at the end, when we publish the report, it falls right under the agreement. And it also falls with the invoice. So when somebody goes to view it, if they haven't signed the agreement, it is blocked. If they haven't paid for it, it's blocked, and everything's, together. So in order to get the appointment with the reinspection report that we just created, this is how you do it. So we'll go to our first appointment here. The one that is 11/4, that's our downloaded appointment. And we'll click open. I have a pop-up about my customers being recognized. So we have our appointment opened. The next step is you have to choose a template. So we'll have to go to select template, and it has to be the same template that you used for the original inspection. So what one did I use? Okay. So you open up your template and then you kind of take a pause. And this is how you merge in that reinspection report that we created. So you'll go to File, Merge Report into this report. You'll see your 11/2, that was the reinspection report that we created. You'll notice down here at the bottom, that's the original one. 11/2 is the one that we just did today and we did the reinspection feature on. And so that's the one that we're choosing to merge into this appointment. So we'll click merge. And then we'll do select all. So we're just going to select everything. We do know that a lot of stuff's excluded already. Then we'll click OK. Reports merged. Woohoo! So we'll say it does give you an option if you want to go through and do the find unanswered and things like that, but I'm going to say no right away. All right, so the report has been merged, and let's just make sure everything's there. So we've got our customer, the test customer, that's the name of this customer. Our report info came through, so everything is linked. So we have a little box right here that says unlink appointment ID, and that is a really good thing. We don't want to click this box, but if it's there, then that's a positive thing. That means that everything is linked together just like we want it with the appointment. And then we'll go to components. just kind of checking some things out here, and you'll notice as soon as we go to components, garage is excluded. Rooms are all excluded. We've got plumbing excluded, electrical, everything looks like it worked just fine. So at this point, if you're using HomeGauge Companion, you can go ahead and send your report to the cloud and then grab it onto your companion, open it up, and go through the Find First Flagged search tool to go through and do your inspection. I am not going to be demoing Companion just because it tends to not work super smoothly on these live webinars. So I'm just going to pretend that I went out, took my pictures with a camera, and I've got them on my desktop, and I'm doing the reinspection on my PC. What we'll do is you'll go to Find Unanswered up here at the top, and then you'll click on Find Flagged. Click the Find First icon right there, and it brings you to your first reinspection item. Now, I do know that not all items that are summary items need to be reinspected. You might have an email of items that says, hey, can you reinspect these items? These are the ones that we were concerned about. So you might want to pull up your list that you've been communicated to about the different items, and you might actually trim this list down to whatever they specifically asked. You also might have been sent a CRL, so one of our create request list printouts or emails, and you would do kind of the same thing there. So we're just going to pretend that pretty much everything on this summary list are things that we're supposed to reinspect. All right, so let's see here. Our first item. So when it comes to attic access, we've got a flag there. We've got our regular pictures. You want to keep those. And then I just happen to already have my reinspection photos. Just going to highlight, drag. I'm actually using a reinspection demo, so this was already added in there, but it's really easy to add, and I think it brings clarity and really makes the picture pop. It's super easy. You just hit text, click wherever you want to add that reinspection, and then you might have a smart text for reinspection as well. So let's see if we've got one. I don't have one, but I will be using it over and over. So I'm just going to create one by going here to the plus sign. I'll click a plus sign again, and I'll do That's just the short name there. That's pretty much all I need to do. I'll hit OK. OK one more time, and it kind of drops down into my available list of picture labels that can, go onto the image with just a click. So I'll put an X next to it and do insert as one comment. I'll do OK. And then I can add it wherever I want. So you don't have to do that, but I do recommend it being super clear, and it kind of is visually easy to tell what's what. I'll select OK. You do need to properly label the reinspection pictures because otherwise they won't be able to tell. And legally you want to have, like, this is my reinspection picture. So you'll go in and add your pictures to the reinspection. Either add them one at a time or in bulk fashion. Once you're done that, this is where we have a feature that is called a completion stamp. So if you click this gear icon here, you get a couple options, and one of them is to insert a completion stamp for pass, meaning the reinspection, whoever repaired it, they passed the inspection, or fail, they forgot to do it, or they just didn't do it to the standards they needed to. So you can choose if this person passed or failed. So I know that some people might not have their completion stamps set up, so I cleared mine out. So the next step is going to prompt me to fill in my own auto text that, will get saved to your template. So I'll click insert completion stamp, and it gives me this message that says that I can create a new smart text for this. It doesn't have a comment ready to go, but it gets you set up. So the next step, you add your completion verbiage. So I'll say, okay, here. And then where it says past comments, that's highlighted. I'll click the wrench that says edit. And then this is where I want to put in my canned statement saying reinspection, completed, satisfactory, or whatever you would like. So I'm just going to go reinspection item complete. I'm highlighting the whole thing and I will bold it. So that's my kind of canned statement, nothing fancy in there. If you feel like putting a little extra, go for it. I'll say okay. So now it's saved to my template and I won't have to do that over and over. To get it into this specific comment, though, I do have to click reinspection item complete. And then I have to click insert into comment below. And you'll notice down here it says reinspected 11/2/23, reinspection item complete. And then I left space for me to add a comment about this. So I've got a comment here that just basically says a few words about it. And I'm just deck screws replaced with structural screws. Done deal, period at the end. And then I'll move on to the next one. So I will unflag this one, and I can either use find next or, obviously it's right below it. So I'll click the one right below it. I'll check out the comment, add my pictures there. So I'm going to add several because I can do multiples at a time. So I can go 1, 2, 3, 4, and just save my time there. Okay, so I've got them all highlighted. I have to say insert selected without editing. That's just because I already have that little reinspection label on there, but you would typically go in and add your own labels so that the pictures are clear of what's what. And then I will add my completion stamp. Well, actually, they were not done correctly. And so we're going to show you how to go in and do an incomplete completion stamp as well, a pass or a fail. So I'll click the gear icon. I'll do insert completion stamp fail. And just to set it up again, I'll select OK. Fail comments is highlighted, and I'll do edit. And then I will say, so I'll do reinspection item incomplete. And then this, I think I'm going to highlight that. I might highlight the word incomplete. Let's see here. I'll bold it all. And then incomplete, I will maybe underline, and I might pop it in like a red or something like that just to make them know that it is not done. And then this is the tricky part. So I will turn off the underline. I'll keep it bold, but I will turn off the underline option, and I'll go back to black here. And then I'll hit my space bar one more time, just so that when I continue the rest of the sentence in my report, it doesn't try to overtake it being red and everything be red. I think that's a little too much. And so I will do that. And then I'm just double checking black. Okay. I'll select OK. So I've got my auto comment there, and I will add it by clicking right here. And then I'll click insert into comment below. So now it says reinspection item incomplete. I can put my cursor there and add my statement to, and just depending on what it is, this one was no changes observed, advised to consult a qualified professional, et cetera, et cetera. But it kept everything in bold, which I liked as well, and it just kind of pops out as a comment. All right, so after that, we'll just run through a few more, and you'll see how it's a little bit easier now that we have those completion stamps set and we don't have to go in and create them. So I've unflagged the visible insulation and attic, and I'll go to the next one. So I'll do find next. And here we are, while cladding, flashing, and trim. And I'll add my reinspection items, photos. And then I'll go down here and you'll see how easy it is. We'll go to the gear icon, and this was completed. So I will go to pass. So I just click here, so it populates in this top section, and then I click insert into comment below. And then I can go in and type whatever I'd want here, if I feel like it. I think it's just complete. The one that I'm copying didn't have any additional information. It was just done. And then basically after that, you undo the flag, move on to find next. We've got the exterior door situation. We'll go to our comment here. Click the little gear icon. And we'll go into, one was a fail, which, you know, this is a real scenario. So we're going to add this and do insert into comment below. So this was partially completed. So I'm actually going to go in here and add that it was partially completed. Uncheck the little flag there and move to the next one. So for this one right here, go in and add my reinspection items, pictures and things. And then I will add my completion stamp. It failed, so we'll say failed. Insert into comment below. It's kind of a long comment, so it's all the way at the bottom. And item was not complete. And then after that, I will uncheck the flag and just move on to the next one. And as you can see, you just kind of go through and it will hit all the flagged items. I'm not going to go through all the flagged items on a webinar because this is actually a real example and it seems like there's quite a few items. I'm just going to pretend that that was all I had to do. And so all the other items I'm just going to exclude. I'll just go X. I can actually exclude the whole, like the other sections completely by going to components. And I'll go here and do that, and I'll go do that. And basically, I'm done my reinspection at that point. So once you've done all that and you've added your pictures, labeled them, added your comments, one thing I will point out, general info, if you go into your intro text right here, there is an intro text for reinspection. So I do suggest adding that, do an insert as one comment. And then I also suggest going down to where it says summary, going to edit summaries, and then just kind of hitting the eraser icons. I just kind of hit those so it doesn't really have the general summary disclaimer because it's not really a summary, it's a reinspection. So just for this instance, I just erase those two. And I just think it has a more polished look, I guess you could say. And we'll go to publish, hit yes. And we've got our reinspection. We've got our reinspection comment right here. And then we just kind of dive right into it. So there's no extra information about a summary and what have you. And it just gets right into the repairs and the pictures. And yeah, and it looks really nice and it's streamlined. So now we'll hit publish. And so once it's published, you get this pop-up. This is a newer pop-up, and you have the choice of just clicking right here, which will take you right to the spot where you send out your emails and give permissions. Or if you just want to go right to your dashboard and be able to see all your reports, you can click that button. So I'm just going to click OK here because I already have my browser pulled up. So I'm just going to refresh. And now you'll see I've got my reinspection agreement there, my reinspection report there. I can click here to send the report and give my viewing permissions. I can also go here, instead of home inspection, I can type in reinspection if I like. And I can also do it down here if I want to do it too as well. It's not necessary, but if you feel like it. And then I'll go here and do send emails. I'll go back to all reports just to share the results. So we've got our agreement for the reinspection and our reinspection report, and everything's been sent, and our client will see it, or they'll first log in and pay and sign the agreement, and then they'll see their reinspection report. All right, so that was a lot. Thank you for hanging tight. Well, I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your Thursday, and I thank you. And it's always great doing this. It's always a pleasure. All right, bye.